Preferred. Come now.
Hi everyone, a very good morning. Now I hope you can listen to me. I was waiting for a few more people to join, but that's okay. They might be following the recording. All right, guys. So let's get started. So what we are targeting today, EC2, right? So let's talk about EC2 service, and then we'll see it in action. So let's talk about a couple of things in EC2. Yeah, because there are a few people who asked me yesterday at the end of the session was what is EC2 exactly and what it is used for. So let me just brief you that, and then we will see it in action. Okay. Yeah. So when I talk about EC2, no, it's one of the most popular AWS offerings. Yeah, it is basically Elastic Compute Cloud, right? EC2. Okay, Elastic Compute Cloud. Basically, it's an offering by AWS in compute services. I mean, we can have compute service here using EC2. And let me just tell you, it comes under IaaS, right? That is Infrastructure as a Service. That means we will get a virtual machine. Yeah, we'll get a virtual machine, and in this virtual machine, we will have the virtual components like virtual CPU, virtual RAM, everything I have. I will have NIC, yeah, or I mean here in AWS they call it as ENI, that is network interface. We can connect with other virtual machines. We can connect with the internet. Yeah, we can do anything. So this virtual machine, or you can also call it virtual server. Yeah, it's available to you using EC2. You can create that. Yeah, and you can host anything here. Yeah, you can host a web server in which you can host your web applications. You can host your databases. You can host your microservices. Yeah, you can do anything with this. It's just like it's like simple physical machine. Yeah, on the top of which you can install any of the application, right? You have operating system, you have everything here. Okay, this is the way easy to work. There are a lot of different components, yeah, other than that, but just trying to give you an idea that we have a system, yeah, in which we can have all the uh, virtual components just like physical one, and we can attach storage to this virtual machine. We can attach file system with this, right? We can do n number of things. Okay, it's a huge service, right? And it is very, very important. Okay, because you will see EC2 with almost all services that we're going to see in this course. Yeah, think about any service, you will find EC2 working with that. Okay, now I just want to give you some of the key terms here that I will be frequently using in EC2, so that I'll brief you and then I will show you in the console. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about is instance. Yeah. So when I talk about virtual machines now, they're called as instances here. So we can have n number of instances, and those instances are basically useful when you want to uh, scale up or scale down. Okay. I mean, this term is very, very important. This actually is nothing but your virtual machine or virtual server, okay, in EC2, which is running, and on the top of which you can do anything. They call it instance here. Okay. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. First thing. Secondly, I'll talk about the security groups, another term which is popularly used here. Yeah, security groups. What is this? Let me just tell you. This security group is nothing but set of rules which we will have, in front of this virtual machine, so that we can actually block or allow. I mean, it can be both the ways. We can allow and block different inbound and outbound connections like this. Okay, so basically, it's nothing but a firewall. Yeah, which is having certain rule which we will understand. Okay, we will play with it. Don't worry. Okay. Third thing, I'm just briefing you, then we'll see it in details. Third thing that we will see is nothing but ANI. AMI, Amazon's machine image. What is this? Let me just tell you, it is nothing but pre-configured operating system. Yeah, it is nothing but pre-configured operating system, which we can choose, right, to to deploy it inside the virtual machine. Let's say we look for Linux machine, right? So we can choose the Linux AMI. We can choose Windows AMI. Yeah, not all of them are certainly available in free tier account, but yes, the one that we might need is available here. No problem. Okay, so AMI, I'll talk about that even in more details. Yeah, how can we work with it? What are the things that we need to know about this? Okay, then fourth thing, I will talk about the storage options, right? So storage options, we have EBS volumes, Elastic Block Store, right? This is network attached storage to this EC2 instances. Yeah, so we can have additional storage, although we have root EBS volumes attached with the EC2 instances. I'll talk about it, but we can add additional volumes of EBS to store something. And in storage only, you can also talk about EFS. Yeah, that is Elastic File System. Okay, so we can attach a file system with this uh, EC2 instances. Okay, so we'll talk about it. We'll see. It is a kind of shared file system among different EC2 systems. Okay, then we can talk about the scaling here. Very, very important, because you might be running with some instances. Yeah, at any point of time you feel like you need to increase those number of instances, you can do that. So scaling is important option, and we'll understand how the scaling is provided. Okay, so let me just tell you, EC2 provide both the type of scaling, that is horizontal and vertical. You might be asking me about what is vertical scaling, what is horizontal scaling. Okay, let me just brief you about this. When I talk about the horizontal scaling, yeah, I can show you that diagram. I have it here only, I guess. Yeah, can you see this? So when I talk about the horizontal scaling, because I just did it in last batch. Okay, so when I talk about the horizontal scaling now, let's say for example I am running two instances, and on the top of which I am running any application. Just think about it. Okay, and my application is running smoothly, my customers are getting response, everything is fine, no problem with that. But as I've planned something, let's say for an example, a weekend sale or something like this, okay, then probably I will need more EC2 instances so that I can handle those extended workload. Okay, so what I can do, I can go and increase the number of instances. Like I can go from 2 to 5, so that additional request, additional load can be handled. Okay, this type of scaling is actually called as horizontal scaling. When you are increasing number of instances to handle the load, additional load, right? This is additional traffic. Makes sense? And we also have vertical scaling, in which what we do, instead of increasing the number of instances, we increase the size of the instance. We have options here, right? I will show you. We can actually go and increase the size of the EC2 instances in terms of definitely those virtual components. Like for an example, I'm running a instance with this. This is, I'm calling it as a small instance where we have two virtual CPUs. Yeah. For any reason, let's say I'm running a gaming application. I need more computation. So I will go for a big EC2 instance, which is probably having 10 virtual CPUs. Yeah. So that I can have that computation accommodated. Yeah. So this type of scaling is called as vertical scaling. When you try out this, okay, when you increase the size of the instance based on your needs. So just wanted to give you an idea that EC2 supports both the type of scaling. Okay, I hope we are getting this particular idea. Okay, we'll be seeing it in a while. Just wanted to give you an idea that scaling can be done using something called as ASG here. It's called as auto scaling group. Yeah, auto scaling group. So it sends uh, the minimum required capacity that you need to run your application, and it will perform those scaling actions for you based on the threshold or based on the settings that you have done. Okay, so this is very interesting. So in EC2 we have a lot of things to understand, right? So let's get started one by one. Okay, so now I will jump into the console. I will start creating an instance, and the options that we are that we are getting in that wizard, right? We'll discuss all of them one by one. Okay, that will be a great idea to understand this way. Okay, and then we'll play with all the settings. We'll see what are the different impacts of different settings. Okay, let's go for it. So I will go for root account. Yeah, I'm into this. Yes, Sham, go ahead. Can you put this into the chat box, or you want me to unmute? Go ahead.
Okay, so these machines, right? Can you just
Mhm.
take comparison with our normal laptops? For example, okay, so
Yes,
like
yes, we
we
can.
choose
We
8
can.
GB
Mhm.
RAM, 8 GB RAM, or 1 TB storage,
Correct.
something like that.
Correct.
So, if you're going for the horizontal scaling, so I'll be
Mhm.
adding machines of the
Mhm.
same configuration. It's like
Mhm.
horizontal, like
Mhm.
instead of two, I'm just gonna choose the same configuration, but
Correct.
adding 10. So it's like adding more RAM capacity as well as adding more storage. But when
Yeah.
when it is vertical scaling, can we
Mhm.
think of it like from 8 GB, we're just the number of machines is still gonna be two, but the
Mhm.
configurations like from 8 GB to 32 GB and then from 1 TB to 10 TB, something like that. So that
Exactly.
vertically the number of instances do not increase, whereas the
Mhm.
capacity and the performance is
Capacity
going to increase.
increases. Yeah, that's exactly true, right? What happens here? We have different type of instances. I'll show you in this EC2, right? There are type of instances. Basically, they have hundreds of different types in which we have different number of CPUs and different number of RAMs, right? They have categorized those instances into different categories based on their workload. Like some of them are compute intensive, some of them are memory intensive, some of them are like useful when you have storage intensive task like this. So you have to choose from a complete catalog of the types of instances. Make sense? So like there are small instances, then you can choose a bigger instance which we have more and more capacity. Like this way, it is managed. Okay, I'll show you. Just give me a moment. I think you will be getting that right away. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Let's go and do that. I mean, I think that's the second option that we're gonna have after AMIs. Okay, so you will see that over here. I'll give you that whole comparison as well. What exactly we have. Okay. All right. So let's go to EC2 instances. Yeah, let's go for that. And let's create an instance, and the options that we have there, we will discuss them properly in details. So let's launch. Yeah. So very first thing is about the name. So you can call anything based on your requirement. I am calling it a first web server. Okay. Simple. Now, this is the second option that I was talking about, Amazon's machine image. So you can just see there are hundred and thousands of the AMIs available here, and these are nothing but pre-configured operating systems. So you have a choice, right? You can go for this AMI, which is pre-configured operating systems for you. Yeah. Or you can have your own AMI as well. Let's say you have licensed operating system and you don't want to use these already available AMIs. You can do that as well. I'll show you what we have to do for that. Okay. So if we just see here in the option, what exactly we have. We have Linux, we have Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, right? There are a couple of more operating systems, right? And let me just tell you, when I choose operating system, there are different AMIs. It's just the categories, okay? So when you talk about if you talk about Linux, can you see here we have all the AMIs available. Can you see Amazon Linux 2023 AMI? Yeah, and you can see more Linux 2, right? And not all of them are available as a free tier. Here you can see free tier eligible. Yeah, a couple of them. So definitely in enterprise account, you can have all those like free to use, right? So you can see we have a lot of AMIs in Linux as well for deep learning, Amazon Linux to LTS. Yeah, I mean, we have to go and get all the details. Yeah, but I hope you're getting there are different flavors of AMI even inside that, right? You can think about Windows as well. There are some Windows Server AMIs freely available that you can use. Sorry about my throat. Yeah. All right. So can you see in Windows also you can have Windows Server 2023 or 22 base, and then we have a couple of free tier eligible options here as well, right? Makes sense. So we have all those options with us. Okay. In fact, there's a marketplace in AWS, right? What is that marketplace? What people are doing, yeah, they have their own operating system. They have configured it properly with all the settings and for very special tasks. So you can go to marketplace and you can choose from them as well. So can you see? So some of them are free, some of them you have to pay, right? Like this. So just click on this browse more AMIs and let's go to this marketplace. Can you see? Here we have quick start AMIs, that is 45 that I've shown you. Okay. This is something which you can actually do. It's definitely a high level use case. You can have image of your operating system and you can put it inside AWS to be used by your EC2 instances. Okay. Then you're going to see marketplace AMIs. You're going to see this. The different people have put their own AMIs based on the requirement. They have given the description here. Yeah. And then you can select if your use case matches with this. Yeah. You can try that. You can see from OpenVPN and corporation, there are access servers. Then you can see VM series virtual next generation firewall. But they have configured those things based on certain needs. Okay. And then you can try that as well. Okay, there are free also. I mean, it's not like always uh, they have these things. So you can just see if you just select free. So there are some free AMIs available. Yeah, so you can try that as well. Okay, so this is something that you can have. You can have the pre-configured AMIs from Amazon, or you can have your own, or you can also try it from the marketplace. Yeah, I hope you're getting this particular idea. Hmm. So I just have to come back to this because yeah. All right. So I hope you got this. Most of the experiments that we are going to do in this course, right? I'll be working with Linux because that is open source, right? We have some commands that we can work with. Okay. Yes, Saurabh. They have different cost models based on yeah, correct. So we have different cost models there based on the category in which they lies. Okay. There might be some hardcore AMIs, which is running very uh, intensive jobs and everything. So definitely based on that, they have their own costing model. Yeah. Because they are third party AMIs. They are not handled by AWS. Okay. Okay. So I will go for the latest AMI of Linux. That is good because we will have everything. So can you see? You can also see the description, right? This give you a lot of information. So you can just see Amazon Linux 2023 is a modern general purpose Linux based OS that comes with 5 years of long term support. It is optimized for AWS and designed to provide secure, stable, and high performance execution environment to develop and run your cloud applications. Yeah, it's good. And you can also choose the architecture. Mostly we work with the x86. Okay, so that is by default chosen. And this is AMI ID, right? I mean, every AMI in AWS is actually given an ID. You can see that. Okay, like this. So whenever you choose any other AMI, you can find any other ID like this. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Uh, Ravi, they're not region specific. Yeah, they're not region specific. Okay. And let's say if you have your own AMI, then you probably can do it. But if AWS managed AMIs are available in all the regions, right? So there's no need of migration. Okay. You can migrate or EC2 instances. That is a different story. Okay. Now let's come to the second option, that is instance type, right? This is important, guys. You need to understand this particular concept, right? So as Sham was asking me that can we have a bigger instance and all, right? So here is the idea. Okay, so if you just see when I just scroll these instance types, you will find something like T2 Nano, yeah, T2 Micro, which I was using, T2 Small, right, T2 Medium, and we have more, right? If you just scroll down, right, C5A X large, right? Can you see that? C5A 12X large. Okay, I mean these are like a couple of instance types, and there are hundreds. Yeah, and if you just want to see the whole comparison, you can see this, right? So let's go for this. Yeah. So basically, what is this T1, T2, right? Let me just tell you the idea behind it. I think then you will understand what is going on. Okay. First thing, the character that you see, right? It is nothing but your class. So let's say if you have, let's say T2 dot micro, right? So this is a class. Okay. I'll talk about class, how they have defined it. This is generation of hardware, then the generation that they have in hardware. Basically, they keep on, updating their hardware. They update that, right? So this is second generation hardware, T2, right? And this is particularly a size that indicates the size of the instance based on the number of CPUs and the memory. You can just see that. Okay. And when you go bigger and bigger here, you will add more and more cost. That is what is the whole idea. But you have to understand what is your exact use case, what exactly you need. Then only you can choose the proper class and the generation. Okay. This is important aspect, guys. Just pay attention to this. Okay. And as you just see that, right? Let me just give you an idea about the size, and then I'll talk about different categories that we have. So can you see, T2 medium was having two number of CPUs. There you can see that. But T2X large is having four number of CPUs and 16 GB of RAM. So you can just see right here, it is moderate kind of performance in network as well. Yeah. So based on your needs, you can choose any one of them, right? There's a whole detail, whole bunch of that. Can you see? 818 plus. Yeah, it can be based on based on a region. Okay, so this number can change, but I hope you're getting the idea of these things. Yeah, let me just give you how they decided the different categories, different classes here. Okay, so I have something to tell you here on the PPT. Let me just show that. I think this is important to understand. Different categories of the instance. Yeah, here it is. Just see, I will brief you about that. So the first category of the instance type is general purpose instances, right? You can see the general purpose instances. Basically, these are like balance of everything, right? Balance of compute capacity, memory, cost, everything. So it is used for general purpose tasks, you can see it is providing a good balance of compute, memory, and network resources. Okay, can be used for a variety of workloads. Makes sense. And these are the classes which belongs to this particular general purpose instance category. Certainly, you don't need to remember all those. I don't even remember that, right? There's a full documentation available on this. Yeah, you can refer it. You don't need to remember. Yeah, but I mean, you should have few idea. Like you can see that the T class. Can you see T class, which I was using, comes under this general purpose instances. Okay, let's see the second category. It is compute optimized. So let's say if you have compute bound applications, like if you have compute intensive workload where computation is critical, okay, you want high performance processors there, okay, then it is the category where you can see all those compute optimized classes. So you can just say C stands for compute, right? Okay, so C5, C5A, these are different categories of classes. Not at all expected to remember all these things. Okay, don't worry about this. Okay, HPC, high performance computing. Okay, there are subtypes as well. Right? It is difficult to remember. There are 800 plus. Okay, but you should understand there are different categories, and based on our use case, we can actually choose one of them. Hmm. Let me just tell you a couple of more types here. So you can just see there's a memory optimized category here. Okay, what do you mean by memory optimized? Here, the requirement is more RAM because you're processing large amount of data in the memory. Yeah, so RAM is a requirement in that particular task. In that case, you can choose one of the options in memory optimized. So you can just see these instances are designed to deliver fast performance for workloads that process large data sets in memory. That is something that we want to do in memory. Okay, and easy to remember, right? R for RAM, right? So you can just see all the classes R5, R5A, R5AD, like this. Okay, their own convention, that is why they have done it. Probably they have different set here, right? In R5A and R5AD, yeah, like this. You don't need to remember all these things like this. You just need to know there are categories. Okay. Okay. Then next category is storage optimized. You probably now guessed it what it is, right? So when you want to store very large amount of data, there's a very high input outputs on the data. Okay. Then we can talk about the storage optimized instances. Think about databases, right? Here where we need a lot of input output operations per second. Can you see that? Very high, and they wanted low latency delivery. Yeah, then you can actually get an instance of category storage optimized, right? We have less categories here, by the way. You can just see here D3, D3EN, yeah, like this. I class comes under this. D stands for data, right? So that is why it's D. Easy to remember like this. Okay, so they're not expecting you to remember all these things, but you should know about the categories. So when you see them here in console, right, you probably have to choose the one from the desired capacity. Can you see that? We have C. So this is compute optimized. You can see that. Okay. And the number that you see, right, is actually your generation, hardware generation. AWS also update their hardwares, right? And this is nothing but indicating that idea. Okay, this is for fifth generation of that hardware. Okay, so you can see a very big CPU. You can see C5 dot metal, right? You can see 96 virtual CPUs and 192 gigs of RAM. Yeah, you can actually find even more than that. Just see this. Let's go to the last page. Yeah, I'm just trying to show you can explore this. Yeah, this link is provided there. So when you go to last page, it is Z class, high performance computing. Z class is always high performance computing. They're very costly as their capacity is very high. So can you see a 48, right? Even you can get more than that. Yeah, you can see 192 here. Okay. And you just have to choose the appropriate one, and I think you're good to go with that. Yeah. But just try and understand when you increase your capacity, yeah, then cost will, of course, proportionally increase. Yeah. So you should have a balance of it. Otherwise, you have a very high capacity instance, but you're not utilizing it properly. That is not also a good idea. Okay. So that should be taken care. Yeah. This is what is the idea that I want to tell you in this part, right? Uh, yeah, I just have to come back here once again. Let's talk about it. So I have chosen this AMI 2023, and I will go for you can just see that free tier eligible are few of them. So you can try them, yeah, in free tier. So we have T2 micro, we have T3 micro as well. That is also, I guess, free. And everything is in front of you. You can see that the family is T2, okay? Class of family, one of the same thing. One virtual CPU, 1 GB of RAM, right? That is what it is. And there are costings as well. Can you see the costing? So if we just have a very heavy, um, let's say if you go for C5A 2x large, right? So you can just see the cost is according to like this, right? So like cost is about Windows base. One thing that I would like to mention here, okay, when you talk about the pricing, right, it is always per hour. Can you see this? Yeah, for these kind of options. So it's like metered one that you are trying to do. Yeah, makes sense. All right, I got a couple of questions. Let me just check. Yeah, AMIs are tied to the region. Absolutely. Mm, what is the See, there are different types of AMIs, Some of them are available in all the regions, some of them are not available in all the regions, like this. Okay. They have different categories. So probably you have to explore, right? Which type of AMI you want and whether it is available in the region in which you are deploying your things or not, right? Yeah. So Rahul, that's about operating system architecture, right? This is the basic idea. I mean, when we talk about x86, it's like 64-bit architecture in operating system, hardcore operating system concept. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Ravi is asking, what is this metal subtype? Is it related to bare metal type? Or yes, it is related to bare metal. Correct. Yeah. Bare metal hypervisor is used like this. So it itself is an operating system. Okay. Like that. Definitely very high level use case. But yes, absolutely, you are on the right track. This is bare metal hypervisor. Okay, let's go on. And you need to explore that, right? I mean, then only you will understand the concept, right? So I'm going with a T2 micro. Let's go for it. That is good enough for our use cases, right? Now, let me just talk about this key pair login. This is very important, guys. Okay, key pair login. So when I talk about key pair login, no, this is nothing but the way you get into your EC2 systems, right? Definitely, you want to run some commands, you want to install anything, right? You can do anything on your instances. But how do you get into that? I mean, can we have any authentication mechanism? Yes, we have it here. Okay. So I just want to brief you that what are the different ways you can actually access your EC2 instances, and then probably you will understand, why you need a key pair. Okay. So let's try and understand that. Yeah. Correct, Another. Yeah. Correct. All right. Okay. All right. So how to access those instances? That is what is the whole idea. So when I talk about instances, access to the instance, right? There are a lot of different ways. Let me just tell you. I just want to give you the popular one. So let's talk about it. Okay. The first one is called as Instance Connect. Yeah. That is very, very interesting, right? The first one is actually Instance Connect. That is provided by the AWS only, Instance Connect. So basically, it is web-based or browser-based. You can just say that SSH. That is what SSH. Probably you might be knowing about Open SSH. Yeah, that is nothing but a way we do the remote connections, right? So this EC2 instance is running in somewhere AWS infrastructure, right? So we have to perform this remote access to that. So there are two ways we can do it. Instance Connect is the most convenient option. I will show you. Okay. I'm showing you the two popular ways to do this. Or you can try any third party SSH, yeah, SSH tools, right? I call it tools. Yeah. Like I can have SSH, Open SSH that I call, yeah. That is available in Windows, in Linux, everywhere, right? I can use putty kind of softwares to do that. Okay, that's very much possible. Okay, but one thing that is different here, yeah, when you talk about those key pair, that is useful when you want to do SSH connections to your systems, right? So that's what is the idea. When you talk about Instance Connect, it is there inside the console only, so you don't need those things here. But sometimes what happens, like we have some EC2 system, yeah, and I want to access another EC2 system, right? So we need that key pair. And let me just tell you, inside that key pair, we exactly have a private key. That's what it is. Yeah, a private key. Yeah, that will be useful when I'm getting into my system. Private key it is. Yeah. So we have options like we can go for .pm options. Yeah, PM is the file extension. We can also go for .ppk. Yeah, that's the older one. We go for PM now, right? So this is the way it is done. So whenever you're doing, SSH into your, the EC2 instance, then probably you need some authentication mechanism. That's nothing but your key. It's like how you are going to access the EC2 systems. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do here. Let's go for it. Let's try and understand that. Probably I'm not going to do SSH right now. Okay, let me just explore all those options. And once I create that instance, then I will be doing it. But I will tell you how to create the key value pair here. Okay, that is important. And then we'll be using it later. Okay, I hope you're getting this concept, right? So can you see when I talk about key pair login, you have options like proceed without a key pair, not recommended, but in some time we can do that when we do not have any need to connect SSH, connect the instance using SSH. So no need to do that, right? Okay. So I will tell you how we can do that. Let's create a new key pair, right? So I will call it as demo key pair. Yeah. I will call it as one because there are a lot of key pairs. There might be a conflict. Yeah. So can you see here we have encryption type. As I've already told you, we have a private key inside that. Yeah. So you can have RSA or you can have ED25519. These are like encryption mechanisms. Yeah. So you can just see RSA is most popular one. RSA encrypted private and public key pair that we have. Okay. So let's go for it. And you can just see the file format that we can choose from. Let me just tell you what is the difference here. .pem is useful when you do OpenSSH, and .ppk is useful when you do putty kind of approach, right? Putty is useful when you are having older versions of Windows or other operating system. Nowadays we use PM files only. Okay, so I will do that. Create key pair. That is what I want to do. Now you will see the key pair is downloaded in my local system. And if you want to see that what is there inside, so you just have to open it. Can you see? It's a RSA private key. Yeah, encrypted private key. That will be useful. You have to supply this key when you attempt to SSH into secured shell, okay, I mean, the people who don't know about SSH, secured shell connection, then I mean, you need this private key to get into your instance. That's what it is. Okay, so this is the way you can actually work. We will be using this key. I just downloaded it. We'll do that. Okay, so you can just see the demo key pair that I've created is here. All right, now coming to the next settings, very important, network settings. Although we will not be able to explore all the options here, because what you have to choose here is nothing but the VPC. Okay, VPC stands for virtual private cloud. It is your own network inside the AWS VPC, right? So we have a separate section on VPC where we'll discuss this in detail, right? We will select the appropriate VPCs and everything. You can see here we have those options. Can you see VPC? We have subnets. That's the subset of VPC. Okay. We have some settings auto assign public IP. So we need public IP or not. That's up to us, right? So let's say if you want this EC2 instances to be recognized from the public internet, then you need a public IP. Yeah, there are different type of IPs: public IP, private IP, and elastic IP. We'll discuss that once we create this. Okay. The most important thing that we are going to discuss here is security groups. Yeah, security group is very important thing. Yeah, so we'll discuss what is that security group. I want to spend some time with this. I want to play with this, right? So that I can tell you what are the things that we can do with this. Okay, let's talk about it. And if you just see, right, when I edit the settings, I will be able to choose any other VPC. So you're going to see there's a default VPC which has been selected by default. Yeah. Yeah. There are no other VPC. That's why there's no list here. If you have your own VPC, it will be there here. When you create an account in AWS, you will have a default VPC. Okay. Already attached with this. All right. So that is why the VPC is selected. You don't have subnet preferences. We will play with all these things in this networking part. That now we can go with the default things. I want to spend time with this security group. So let me just talk about this. Yeah. Then I think we can go ahead. No, it is not CC2. Probably I just uh, wanted to write EC2, but I just made like this. Okay. It is EC2 only. Okay. Both the things are EC2. It's not CC2. Okay. Don't get confused. No, Ravi, basically we are trying to get into the instance, not into the account. Okay. So that is what is the idea. All right. Once we are getting to that EC2 instance, yeah, then we can perform all these command actions. Okay. Like sudo commands and everything to elevate our rights and everything. Okay. Makes sense? All right. So, yes. So let me just talk about the security group. Yes. Some of you might not be knowing about that. So what happens here? As I told you, security groups are nothing but acting as a firewall. Okay. So let's say you are running an EC2 machine. Okay. And you want to control, yeah, you want to control that what traffic goes in the EC2 instance and what can go out of the instance, right? So the traffic that goes in the EC2 instance, we call it as inbound connections. Yeah, inbound traffic. Okay, and something that goes out of EC2, yeah, is called as outbound connection. Just think about that. Let's say EC2 is running with a web application. Yeah, here we have a web application running on the top of EC2, and you are requesting that web page with the HTTP request or maybe HTTPS. Okay, maybe SSH connection, any different protocol we can use here. So definitely that is going to be inbound connection, inbound request. Okay, and then let's say this EC2 is responsible for response as a web page. Then definitely it's going to be outbound connection. Yeah, EC2 is responding, with the help of web page or some other maybe some database it is hosting. Yeah, it can be anything. So this is something, but we cannot allow anyone to go inside EC2 and request it, right? So what we put here would put a security group kind of approach, right? Security group here that acts as a firewall. Yeah, security group that is acting as a firewall. We have certain rules here. Yeah, so let's say we have public internet here, and anything goes in, yeah, is actually uh, controlled by the security group. We can control such connection request here at this point. Firewall, right? You might be knowing about the firewalls. Yeah, and in this security group only, right, what we have exactly, we have rules, and based on that, the traffic, will be filtered. Let's say, for example, I want SSH connection. I want to allow SSH connection into this EC2. So I will set that rule here in this security group that I want to allow SSH into this EC2. Yeah, I have to do that. All right. Then let's say I want HTTP traffic allowed here. Yeah. So I have to set that rule here in this firewall. One thing that I would like to tell you, yeah, when I talk about inbound connections, no, okay. So everything is blocked by default. Everything is, I mean, all type of connections are blocked. You have to explicitly go and allow them. Everything is blocked inbound. But when you talk about outbound connection in security group, everything is allowed, right? So anything goes in, although we can play with this outbound rule as well, but by default they're allowed. Okay. So anything goes out of EC2, we allow it by default, but anything goes in to the EC2, that is not allowed, right? We have to specifically tell what kind of request we want to allow to get into that EC2. Okay. I hope you're getting this idea. You will see that shortly, and I will show you the impact of all these things. Okay. One more thing that I want to tell you here. It's very interesting thing. Yeah. Like, it is not necessary that you have one security group for one instance. Yeah. You can have your set of rules inside the security group. Let's say you have your own security group, and you can attach the security group with multiple instances. Very much possible. So let's say there are similar type of instances, similar requirements. Then you can add security groups to different. So it's a totally detachable entity. Yeah. So you can detach security groups. You can attach anyone else, right? You can play with this. Yeah. So security group is something like this, plug and play. Yeah. You just have to plug in with the instances. It can be more than one instances, no problem. Yeah. Like this, you can play with it. I hope you're getting the idea about the security groups, right? Now let's go and create a security group and let's see how it works. Okay. I'll show you some demo on that so that you can understand. So if you just see here, I'm into this network settings, right? Because it is related to network. Okay. One thing that I would like to tell you here, these security groups are inside a region. Okay, inside the region that you are working in. Okay, so this is something that you should understand. Yeah, like you have created a security group in one region, might not be applicable in another region. Yeah. So just see, because VPC lies inside the region, okay? And inside that VPC, we have the region like this. This is the hierarchy, okay? So if you see here, we have the option, right? Create security group, or you can use the existing security group as well, right? So when I select this option, you will have set of available security group in my account. Yeah, you can actually get any one of them. Yeah, you're probably thinking like, where are these security groups? Okay, so if we just open this left side panel, yeah, and when you scroll down a bit, you can just see network and security subsection here. And here you have the first option as security group. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my own security group here. Although you can create it right away here, no problem. But I just want to give you an idea that how you can create separately and attach it with the EC2 instance. Okay. So let's go for this. Yeah. So here we have a couple of security groups that I've already created earlier. Yeah. I can delete them. I can do anything with them, right? Now let's go for our own security group. And you can see I can create that security group here. All right. Let's go for it. So can you see the basic details that I have to provide is nothing but name of security group. So I will name it like uh, I will name it like SG. There's no naming convention. It's up to you. What do you want to go, right? Demo, and I will call it as September 24, just to make a difference, right? There's no need to suffix with all these things. No, there's no requirement, right? You can add description, like what you're trying to do here in this security group. Yeah, because there might be different security groups based on the rules, right? So you should have some description so that you can understand what is going on. And the third option is VPC. That is what is very, very important now. Security group is under that VPC settings. So it is default VPC that has been selected. Can you see that? Because we don't have any other VPC right now. Okay. And VPC is bound to a region. That is important to understand. Okay. And now just see that the rules that I have talked about, inbound rules and outbound rules. Yeah. Anything goes in the EC2 instance is called as inbound. Anything goes out of the instance is outbound. Yeah. So you can just see here when I talk about the outbound connection, right? I have not done anything. I have not added any of the rules here, but all traffic by default is allowed. Can you see that? When you have a rule, that means it is allowed. Can you see all traffic is being allowed from destination, from any destination? Whenever you see this IP address, no, this is you will see very oftenly in like AWS. Basically, it's a CIDR block that's called as classless interdomain routing. We will deep dive into this VPC part. This particular part, right, actually indicates when you have this IP address, no, 0.0.0.0, it indicates all IPv4 addresses in the world. I mean, any range, any subnet like this. Okay. So what do you want to do? You want to allow all traffic, right, on all the ports, right? Sorry, protocols and all the port ranges. Yeah. From anywhere. Yeah, I will explore that. And then from any IP, any connection is allowed. Yeah, and you can just see the whole description here. Okay, you can just see for that, and you can just see a couple of options here: anywhere IPv4, IPv6, my IP. So you can actually allow your own IP addresses as well. Okay, let's say this particular instance is very specific to something, right? You don't want to make it publicly exposed, so you can try this as well. Right now, I'm doing it like outbound rules. So outbound rule is okay. Let's try inbound rules. Very, very important, because this is the way only we will get something in the instance. Okay, so let's say if you are hosting a web server, definitely there will be some requests from outside world. Okay, so let's add a rule here. All right, and if you just see here the type, that is important, what type of connection you want. Okay, so there are n number of options. Can you see this? Yeah, based on your needs you can choose that. TCP, UDP, right? Maybe right, you might be knowing about these. Yeah, all TCP, all UDP, right? There are different flavors. All traffic, let's say you want to allow all traffic from anywhere, right? So you can try this. You can do SSH. This is important to have SSH inside that, because if you want to get into that instance, no, in any ways like instance connect or maybe SSH, you need this to be allowed. So I will choose the first rule as SSH. I can add multiple rules. So here you can see the protocol and port range is already selected. You don't have to do it. Yeah. And these are like default ports for SSH 22. For HTTP, you have 80. HTTPS, you have 443. These are like standard ports. Yeah. Then the source. Yeah. From where you want to allow this traffic, right? So I will say that anywhere. I mean, I will be mostly working with the IPv4 only. So I want to allow anywhere IPv4 address, right? So that is why the CIDR block is chosen. You can have your own CIDR block as well. No problem. That's little advanced use case. We'll see it in VPC in details how to play with this CIDR blocks. You can have description. You can add more rules. Let's say you want to allow HTTP. Let's go for that. Yeah. You can see HTTP and HTTPS are separate entities here. So, I mean, if you just have HTTPS, Don't think like HTTP connections will also be working. You have to explicitly have that. So HTTP, I want to allow from anywhere because I want to hit that web server. I will add one more rule for HTTP just to make sure that we can have um, uh, all the different type of request here. Port range, I want to allow anywhere. Okay. So these are the rules that I have selected and I have added into this, and I can save this the security group, right? So let's create it. Yeah, so we have to provide a description. So I will provide a description like I'm providing SSH, HTTP here in this, and HTTPS in this security group. That's why I'm just naming it like this. And I think we are good to go. Let's create the security group. In few seconds, our security group is ready. Yeah, and you can see the inbound and outbound rules here, which we have mentioned at the time of creation. Yeah, in this tabs. Now I'll come back to launching of the instance here. Yeah, that I'm talking about, and I will select this instance which I have just created. Okay, so I'm not creating a new security group here. You're going to see the way we just did that rules here. Yeah, we can do it here. Instead of that, I will be selecting this security group, and I can attach the security group with any number of EC2 instances. It doesn't matter if you have similar requirements. You're going to see commonly used security group, and you'll find the one that we have created, right? So if you just scroll down, yeah, can you see SG demo September 24? That the one that we have created just now, and VPC is already mentioned here. Okay, so let's select this rule. So this security group will be applied on this. Makes sense? Makes sense or not, right? I hope you got this. Yeah. So this is the way. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to play with this, right? I want to show you the how rules can actually work here. So let's do one thing. Uh, okay, one more thing that you might ask me. Let me just clarify that. We can add more number of security groups in uh, a single EC2 instance. Like for an example, you have different security groups to manage the different type of connection, like one for SSH, one for HTTP, one for HTTPS, right? So you can also add multiple security groups, no problem. Yeah, but they should not be conflicting. Otherwise, there will be a problem. The most restricted policy will be applied here. Okay. All right, let's play with this, and I will stick to all these default settings, right? We'll come back and we'll see to this. Okay, so if you want to see this security group working, let's launch a tiny web server here with the help of this user data. Yeah, probably we have discussed about the user data. I don't remember. Let me just tell you again. User data is nothing but set of some commands, yeah, that you want to run when this instance is booting out. Right? That's what it is. Let's say you have some bash commands you want to run, here while the system is booting. You have option, right? You can run that command, yeah, and you can get that instance running, and then you can run the command, no problem, right? But I'm putting this uh, here, okay, so that I don't have to run that command after doing this, right? So I think I've shared this block of code. I will explain it to my. So can you see here we have getting some permissions with the sudo commands. Then I'm just updating the yum command. I'm installing the HTTPD, which is a very tiny web server here, and I will get echo from that index.html, right? And I will get the response. Very simple code. It's not very high-fi. I will share it inside the chat box if you want to try. Yeah, it's like Kickstart. You can just say that. Correct. It's always a good option. We don't have to run those commands after that. I mean, we have to go into that instance and then probably we have to run those commands. We can do that. It's not a compulsion that we have user data all the time, but it is convenient option, right? I have just put it in the chat box. If you want to try it parallelly, you can try that. Okay, then all those default settings are good. I will launch the instance because I want to show you that security group idea. Let's play with that. All right, you can see successfully initiated the launch of the instance. Let's go to the instance and let's refresh. Yeah. So can you see the first web server is running here? All right. And you can get inside the instance. There are a lot of information, right? We'll talk about it. Yeah. There are a lot of information. There are different tabs, details, status and alarms, right? Monitoring, security tabs, right? We'll explore them as we proceed ahead, right? Networking, storage, everything. Yeah. We'll explore them, uh, when we progress. Okay. The primary idea that I want to tell you here is these IP addresses. Okay. You will see IP address, that is public one. This is public IP address provided by AWS only, because we have just set that setting. And there's a private IP address. Probably you might be knowing about the difference between private IP and public IP. There's one more, which is elastic IP address. Yeah, this is a kind of important interview question, guys. So let me just brief you. Okay, public IP addresses are the IP addresses used to recognize this instance from public internet. So whenever you use this, you can access this instance from public internet. That is what we call as public IP. So let me just do it. Then I'll talk about the private IP. I'm copying this address and I'm going to this new tab. You can also try that. It will work. Yeah, because it is hosted here. So can you see, right? I got this response from the server. I'm not doing anything hi-fi, just trying to get some response. Yeah, when I am just putting a request. You can verify that. Can you see, private IP is 46.144. And if you just go to instance, it is 46.144. So I'm getting the response from this server only. Yeah, you can also hit it, right? Please try that in your system. Probably I have already shown you yesterday, right? So this is something that you can do. Now, let's play with the security group rules. If you just see this request, right? This is HTTP request. Can you see that? Yeah. So how you get this request get into that EC2 instance? Because the security group is allowing the inbound HTTP traffic. Can you see this? Make sense? Now let's disallow that HTTP traffic and let's see whether then the connections can be built inside that or not. Yeah? So that is simply we can do. So let's go to the security tab, right? You can see inside that EC2 instance, we have the security tab where you can see what security group is attached with this instance. So can you see? Yeah, this security group was attached with this instance. So let's go into that. Let's change the idea. Okay. And now I will edit this inbound rule and just see. I'm deleting this rule. One thing that I would like to tell you here as a practical tip here, right? You cannot change these rules. Yes. Yeah, this is a fact in security group. You cannot change these rules. Like if you want to make any of the changes, you have to delete the existing rule and you have to make changes. Like for an example, if I have HTTP and I want all TCP here, right? And then if I save the things, right? Yeah, this is about the inbound, right? That is why it is successfully created, but it is not at all recommended. Make sense? So the best practice is save that because we have TCP here only. That is why it just got that. The best practice say that you should delete the security group and you should create a new one. I will show you this behavior why we need this behavior further going. But right now, let's stick to the agenda. I have removed all those HTTP and HTTPS rules, right? That means uh, I'm not allowing any HTTP or HTTPS request to the EC2 instance. That's what I am intended. Yeah. So here, can you see only SSH is allowed? So let's save this rule. And now let's do this. Okay. Let's refresh this. And can you just see it is running? Yeah. It's running tick tock, tick tock. It's not actually doing something. Yeah. And after some time, after attempting, for some time, you will see a timeout error. The request cannot be made to that server because it is not allowing inbound HTTP traffic into that instance. That is what is the whole idea. That is what I wanted to tell you. So here the security group is blocking that request. Yeah. in some time, you will see the timeout error. Yeah, can you see the timeout? Connection timeout. Okay, you can try as many times you want. The connection will not be made to that EC2 instance because the security group is blocking. Can you just see this? Right. Now let's play with the rules one more time. Okay. Now I'm very specific, right? So I will go and edit the rule, and then I will add a rule that seems to be only HTTP traffic I'm going to allow. Okay. Only HTTP, not HTTPS. I don't want that TLS kind of security here, right? Then I will use this HTTP, and I can use anywhere here, and I'll save it. Now, according to the security group rule, HTTP is allowed, not HTTPS. Okay. So now let's try HTTP here. Okay. So I will do it like HTTP :// yeah, and then if I hit it, so can you see now I got the output? Yeah, but let's say if I do HTTPS, that's the another way of calling it, then again it will be tick tock tick tock. Can you see this? I call it as tick tock tick. Yeah, soon it will be timeout. What does it mean? That very specific, on HTTP and HTTPS. So this is how the security groups, do that. And probably if you delete this outbound rule, no, you will not be able to respond to any of the requests. So that is why by default the outbound rule is allowing everything out of the EC2 instance. This is important rule, guys. There are different mechanism AWS is following. Like here we have security group, right? We have ACLs as well, access control list. Yeah, we call them NACLs, network access control list. Yeah, there are different things that we can actually apply at the network level, at instance level. We have different approaches for this security kind of approaches. Okay, you're gonna see timeout because we were trying HTTP. HTTP is only allowed, not HTTPS. So if I remove HTTP, S here, and then I try it, I will get the response. I hope you're getting this idea. Any question on this, please let me know. Because this is important to know, because whatever you do in your systems, right? If you have not configured your security groups properly, then you will not be able to get any of the responses. Okay, this is something that you should understand. Yeah, so Jivan is asking something. Are security group stateful? Yes, very, very interesting. They are stateful, right? They know what is going in and then what to go out. Yeah. When you talk about NACLs, no, that is network access control list, or other security mechanism, they are like stateless. It is stateful. Yeah. I want to give you this idea when I work with the VPC firewalls, but you have mentioned that is I just confirmed. Madhuri is saying, can an instance have multiple security groups? Yes, it can, as I've already told you. Can my IPs uploaded using a CSV file? No, probably not. But we have different security options here. You can work with something called as uh, the Cognito, yeah, or you can also work with IP sets, yeah. When you work with there's a service in AWS that is Web Application Firewall, WAF. They call it as WAF, Web Application Firewall. There you can have a specific firewall for web applications. Yeah, we'll see to it. There you can you can have actually a set of IP addresses which you want to allow. Okay, so in that case you can do exactly what you want to do. Okay, but not in security groups, because security groups normally manages the rules, not the set of IPs or something like this. But yes, we can specify some of the IPs in that rule. Okay, but when you have big list of IP addresses, then probably WAF is a better option. Yeah. Ravi saying, also, can we create the security rules for the users of specific location? No, I think WAF is good for you. Yes, that's a good idea. There are web ACLs inside WAF, right? That can actually do that regional traffic blocking. Yeah. See, security group is at the instance level only. Okay. So whatever you want to do at the instance level, you can do it inside that security group, right? There are n number of security options here in AWS that we can use. Where's the network ACS? It is there in VPC part, right? Honest. That's a different story. Charm is asking the host range in the rules section. Is the restrict user to particular range of IPs? Yes, correct. Yeah. So we cannot go for specific IPs. I mean, if you have big list, that will be hectic, right? Better use WAF. But yes, we can have IP ranges using the CIDR block. Yeah. Deepa is saying, why do the instance have multiple security groups instead of can we have? It's up to you, right? What happens sometimes, people like to play with different connections, and they want very dynamic way to manage those security rules. So they manage multiple security groups. That's okay. It's up to you what you want to do. Yeah. Ravi saying, can we convert public IP addresses into elastic IP? No. Let me just tell you, when I talk about elastic IPs, we have to get it from the AWS. Yeah. So yes, I think we have not discussed about the private IPs and elastic IP. Let me just give you that idea. So when I get into this instance, right, you can see there's one public IP, which is for public internet users, and you can see this is a private IP. This private IP is basically for internal communication of the VPC. You're going to see we are here in a VPC. We have launched our instance in a VPC, right? So for all the internal communication inside AWS, we have this private IP address. And something is called as elastic IP addresses. Very interesting. So you might be knowing about the nature of public IPs. Yeah, let's say if I reboot this instance, yeah, you will lose the public IP. Yeah, you will have another public IP assigned to this instance. Yeah, but elastic IPs are not like this. They are public IP addresses, but they are actually the fixed one, right? Like if you have a web server, just think about it, okay? And you have registered in DNS and everything. So you cannot have a different IP address every day. Not possible, right? Then we go for elastic IP addresses. Makes sense. That is what is the concept. Okay. You can add an elastic IP addresses and you can get it from so I mean just try it, okay? Just have an elastic IP address from here. Yeah, we have instance settings. You can add the elastic IP addresses, and oh sorry, it is network settings here. Yeah, you can see manage IP addresses, and you can also have elastic IP from here. Okay, and then reboot the instance. You will see that the public IP address get changed. Yeah, and the elastic IP addresses are there only. And one thing that I would like to tell you, elastic IP addresses are chargeable. Yeah, so there's a cost involved with these because AWS is providing a fixed IP address, as a public IP address, and then you can just have it for a long time. Yeah, so this is the whole idea. Yes, Orok, this is absolutely correct. Security group is only for the instances. Got from AWS, exactly, Deepak. And is saying, is it possible to configure a static public address on the interface? Yes, that is what elastic IP is all about. Honest, right? Public IPs can be reserved. Yes, with the help of elastic IP. If you're using elastic IP, then it can be. Yeah, exactly. So you will not lose that elastic public IP. So elastic IPs are public IPs, but they're not changing when you are rebooting or something like this. Okay, there will be fixed IP addresses. Okay, like this. I mean, you can go to this uh, instance settings, manage the IP addresses. You can just do it here, and you can go to this allocate. You can see if you want to get a public IP which is assigned to this instance, you can go to this allocate tab, and then you have to allocate elastic IP. Can you see elastic IP addresses? You have to allocate one, and it will be available. Make sense? This is the way it works. Just try it. I want you people to explore this. I hope the concept is clear. Saurabh is asking, is there any extra cost? Yes, it is. It is there, right? Makes sense. I think, I mean, you just have to confirm it in the documentation. Yeah. I think we can have 5 elastic IP addresses in a free tier. Yeah, makes sense. But just, uh, release those elastic IP addresses if you're not using. Definitely, there will be surprises in the build. Yeah. I have already faced this issue earlier. Yeah, great. So I hope you got this idea of having the security groups in our hands. Right? Any more questions? I'm planning for a short break, guys, and then I'll come back and we'll move ahead further. We'll talk about other options in EC2. Is elastic IP addresses a regional concept? So let me just tell you, when I talk about elastic IP addresses, it is for the connection. Yeah, it is for the connection. So I think it is for public usage, right? So there's nothing related with the regional or maybe zonal. Okay. So once you have elastic IP in any of the thing, yeah, any of the instance, then probably you can access it from all over the world. Only elastic IP is free as long as attached to EC2. No, 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 not like this, right? Just check out the documentation for that pricing and all. Yeah, you will understand that. But it is chargeable as far as my experience is concerned. You have to charge. If you need more than one elastic IP addresses, you will be charged. Yes. So you can just see that. Yeah. I mean, every time they keep on changing all those pricing and all, right? So it's always a good idea to see, what are the pricing associated with the elastic IP before using it. Okay. Because not all the time you need that elastic IP. Yeah. At least for, not for the experimental usages, right? Okay. Got it. So I'll go for a short break, guys, only 7 minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll see a couple of more settings here in EC2. Okay, like EBS and everything. Okay, let's go for a short break, guys. Hi guys, I'm back. I hope you're there. Can I get some thumbs up? Vinga Surya, this is something which is high level use case. So I think we will be off the track if we just discuss these buckets and everything right now. Yeah. So maybe later we can discuss, but not right now. As we are here in the EC2, let's talk about it. All right. So the next thing that I want to tell you here is this that I've told you about the connections, right? Where are those things? Yeah, I talk about the instance connect, right? Yeah, instance connect, SSH. Well, let's try both the things. Let's how we can get into that instance, right? Can we see that instance? Can we run any of the commands and can we do something with that? Yeah. So let's go into this. I'll quickly brief you about, and we'll do the SSH into our system, right? You will see that. Okay. Let's go for it. So, instance connect is super easy idea. Okay. So can you see when I'm into that instance, right? This was my instance that was running. Just see this. Yeah. Can you see web server running? And I'm into that. Although you can also do it from the previous page. And you just have to hit this connect button. Okay. Let's go for connect. And can you see uh, one thing that is very, very important, that instance connect is also web-based SSH only. Yeah, just see this description, you will understand. Can you see? Connect using EC2 instance, connect browser-based client with a public IPv4 address. This is actually SSH connection made to that instance, using this browser-based UI. Okay, and that is why the SSH need to be open, yeah, for IP addresses. Yeah. So if you remember in the security group, right, we did that. Let me just show you once again quickly. Here it was my security group. And can you see inbound rule? SSH is allowed. Can you see? SSH is allowed, yeah, on port 22. Makes sense. So I can do this SSH because it is allowing the connection. So I'll go with this. Yeah, this is endpoint connection. We don't need this right now. So you can just see your instance connect connection. And this is the default username. This is the default username in EC2 machines, EC2 user. Okay. And then you can see the public IP address. Let's hit on connect and you will see that dollar prompt, Linux dollar prompt. And then you can run any of your commands. Can you just see that, right? So I am into Amazon Linux 2023. That is this. And EC2 user add IP address this, right? This is nothing but a private IP address of this instance. And now here as a dollar prompt, we can do anything, right? Whatever we want to do. Let's say if I want to ping any server, like let's ping Google. Yeah, I can do that. Can you see? All commands are, and you can just see internet is also enabled in this instance. And whatever now you do, you want to run some yum commands, whatever you want to do, right? It's there, right? How do you stop this ping, right? Probably you might be knowing it is Control C that you have to press. Okay, then only this ping will get stopped. Makes sense. This is something that is super easy, right? You don't have to authenticate yourself because you're doing this instance connect within your console only. So no need to authenticate yourself. Okay, makes sense or not? This is very, very easy way you can interact with the instance. I would like to tell you about how SSH can be done in this instance connect, right? So I will log out. Go to this. I will close this session. Yeah, my instance is still running. You can see that, right? There's no change in that. Instead of direct connect connection here from this particular instance connect, now I will made open SSH connection. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so you probably knowing that Windows has got open SSH already inbuilt in this CMD. So I'm going to use this only. Yeah, so I'm going to try SSH so that make sure that everything is fine. Can you see this reference, right? We got all these different types of SSH options that we have. Okay. One thing that I would like to remind here, whenever you do SSH into the EC2, you need that key pair, right? That is public private keys. Remember that? Okay. So we have to get that keys. All right. And we have to, actually navigate to that directory where we actually have that keys. Okay. So if you remember, we have downloaded those keys, right? Can you see demo key pair? Makes sense. So it is there in this downloads part, right? Let me just put it inside another folder because I have to navigate to download. It will be very hectic. So I'll keep this somewhere here so that I can easily get it. I have just SSH folder, right? So I will delete this existing one. I will do it. You can keep it anywhere. It doesn't matter. But just the point is you have to navigate to that directory where you have this demo key pair .pm. Okay. One more common problem that we face, while dealing with the spam files in Windows, yeah, it's about ownership. It's about ownership of the files, because when you have this files, right, as private key and public key, AWS will not actually accept that there are multiple owners of this file. Yeah, I want to show you this problem, right? Let's go with the flow. Then when the problem is there, I will show you that and I will give you the resolution of that, how we can actually get rid of this. Okay. So let's go with the flow, then I will do it. Okay. So I have to move to that folder. So I have that folder like in C drive, that is CD SSH. Yeah. That is my folder that I've created. Okay. You can create any folder, doesn't matter. Now I'm in this folder where I have the private key file. If you just see that, right? SSH, we have got demo key pair. I will be using it. Just see that. Now I can run that SSH command here. So the command will be, I hope you can see it. Yeah. SSH. Then we have to do -i. Yeah, they are all help here. Yeah, you can see identity file. When you have some identity file using which you want to authenticate yourself, then you put -i, stands for identity. And then I will put it like this, dot slash, because that dot stands for the current working directory. Okay. And here I will need that demo file. So let me just confirm the file name. Here it is. Yeah. I don't know, make mistake that it is demo key pair one dot pem. Don't forget to get that extension. Yeah. So I have provided the identity from where I want to get myself authenticated. Yeah. Then I have to provide the user. Can you see user @host? Okay. So default user is EC2 -user. That's the default user of EC2 instances. And here I need to provide the host. That is nothing but your IP address, public IP address. Okay. I'll go to this. I'll copy this public IP address. Yeah. Earlier I have used it, and I will just paste it. This is what I want to do. Now you will not be able to make the connection because there's an issue with the file. I just want to give it to you live so that you can understand. You can troubleshoot as well. Let's do that. So can you see? Yeah. So it is asking for the confirmation. Yeah. Do you really want to continue with this connecting? So I will say yes, and you're going to see the warning. Very, very important. Just see this. Okay, this is the problem normally we face in Windows. Okay, so can you see it is required that your private key files are not accessible by others. Yeah, so this is something that you need to do. Okay, so we just have to make some changes in the file permissions, and then we can resolve this issue. Let's go to the file. Okay, here it is. Let's go to the properties of this file and you will see what I was talking about, right? Let's talk about security. Can you see that groups or usernames, this file belongs to? Authenticated users, system administrators, users. This is not a good idea for private and public keys. Yeah, that is not allowed when you do SSH. So what you have to do, you just have to go to this advanced. Yeah, go to this advanced and you can see all those things. Yeah, and I will disable the inheritance because it is inheriting a lot of different users and their permissions, right? Just check. So I will disable the inheritance. Yeah, I will remove all the inheritance, and I will add only the user which I want, as the owner of this. Okay, that is what is the idea. And you're going to see that's the owner. The name of the owner is Ajita, right? You can see. All right. So I will add one. I will select the principal. Yeah, and I will put Ajita. It will convert this. So I will have to check the name. Yes, it is available. So you have to check what is the username in your case, right? So that is important. You should have your own. All right. And then uh, so when I click OK, I can have permissions. So I can provide full control, no problem, because that is under my hood, right? And I will press OK. Yeah, and let's apply. Now you can just see there is only one owner of this file. This is the problem we generally face in Windows operating system. Yeah. All right. So this is the way we actually made that change. Now we can come to this particular part, and let's try SSH one more time. Very similar way. And can you just see that I'm into my system? I'm into my Linux machine, right? Where I was just getting this from in the instance connect. Remember that? So now I can run any of the commands. I can do like the same. And this is from my local command window, right? You can just see this. And I can do whatever I want to do. So can you see I'm doing that remote access from my local system to this Linux machine, which is running on this private IP address and this public IP address, which I've made. Makes sense. I hope you got this idea of SSH. We use this concept, yeah, whenever we want to access the instances, the servers from local connections, right? So you can just see just the point that you should note here. We have used the key pair. That is important. That is how we have authenticated ourselves. Can you see demo key pair? So you need a key pair to do SSH from the external tools, right? And you just see the username and the public IP of that. Public IP is needed, otherwise it's not possible to connect directly into that. One thing that I would like to tell you, okay, I used public IP to connect into this instance, right, from outside the VPC, right? I'm on internet, right, and I access the instance within that VPC. But let's say there is a VPC. I want to show you this concept because sometimes it can be there. So let's say um, I have a VPC, and inside that I have multiple instances. Let's say instance 1 and instance 2. Makes sense. And let's say this instance 1 want to connect to this instance 2 for any reason, right? Then it can also use private IP address. It is within the same VPC, right? But yeah, there's a third party which is like in on the internet. Yeah, and then when they want to connect to this instance, then they have to use a public IP. That's the idea. Or maybe elastic IP if you have, right? Need to be careful on this. Makes sense. I think we will do that in the net gateway part, right? We'll do that Bayesian host kind of concepts in the networking. Then you will probably understand it in a better way. Yeah. So I hope you got this idea how we can actually get it. And let's say you want to get out of this, right? So you just type exit here. You will be out of this session. Yeah, you have just lost that connection, closed it, and now you get back to your prompt. This is open SSH, guys. This is interesting and important when you want to get into that server. I hope you got it. Now your Linux machine is ready. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Make sense? Yeah. If you have any question, please let me know. Ravi, is we add PM and PPK login? No. There's only one, either PM or PPK. Okay. I mean, inside PM, we have that public and private key pair. And PPK is an older concept when we use putty kind of approaches. that is used for that. Yes, one instance so that we can connect using OpenSSH and PuTTY. No, they're not work together. That is what I want to tell you, Ravi. Just make this correction, right? There are separate ways. You can use either PM or PPK. So you can just see, I've used only PM file. I have not used any PPK. Yeah. So you can just make it like this: PM for OpenSSH, PPK for PuTTY. Makes sense? Now, after Windows 10, the SSH is already there in Windows system. Yeah. Okay. Shraddha is asking me for the email ID. You can connect me on LinkedIn, Shraddha. Probably I don't know even, right? My team is still working on those uh, bad reviews that I'm getting continuously for last 2 or 3. So last day also I had a couple of negative reviews. There are few people who are not satisfied with my way. Probably I don't know. I mean, it's up to the team. They will decide what is to be done. Okay. Ernest saying there are two keys, public key and private key. We provide one. Where is other one? No, no, Ernest, that is all there in that one file. Yeah. If you just get into that, can you see? Yeah. So public key is already available, right, to everyone. It's like username and password if you're using, right? It's a private key. Can you see? It is all encrypted there. Yeah. It's all encrypted here inside. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Anything I can help you? If the Linux level security is enabled, will security group override it? No, because security group is in front of that instance. So first security group rule will be uh, handled. But yes, at the instance level, if you have provided some blocking, some firewall, definitely it will also be recognized. So that is operating system level security, right? But first, the security group rule will be applicable. Yeah, I hope I answered. Yeah, because SD is always in front of the instance. Yeah. Great. Any more questions, guys? No? Yeah, there is one more question. Can we have demo on AC2 on? Okay, I think you're talking about EC2. You can try that, Ravindran, right? Because I mean that will be very, very similar way. It's just like you must know about the Windows for that, right? Okay. Mostly, in AWS we work with the Linux systems. But yes, if you have a specific requirement, you can try it. You might be knowing about Windows authentication mechanism. It's just the different AMI that you are choosing. Yeah, I don't think uh, we can do it. You can try it. I mean, I really appreciate if everyone try all these options and do working that. Okay. All right. So it's like we have 10 minutes left with us. So let's go for EBS volumes. Let me just give you a brief about it. What is that EBS volume and what exactly is the idea? Okay. So when I talk about the EC2 instances, right, there are multiple storage options. Yeah. So let's have instance, and when the storage is concerned and where the things are stored, yeah, then we have couple of options in yeah, the EC2. The first is called as instance store. Yeah. Instance store. It is a small memory which is given to the instances to store the intermediate files and everything. Instance store. Other way we can do is like we can add EBS volumes. EBS, right? EBS, Elastic Block Store. You might be knowing there are different ways to store data, right? Block level storage, file level storage, like this. Okay. We'll understand it in a couple of more services like S3, RDS, right? DynamoDB. We'll talk about those. This is about databases and storage. But here, primarily, we have EBS volumes. Let me just tell you what is the concept here in this EBS volume. They are actually network attached storage, NAS. Yeah. It's just like your USB stick that you can attach to your laptops, right? Pen drives. It's very simple, right? And very similar to that. So what you can do, you can attach additional storage to this instance, yeah, as the EBS volume. They call it volume here. Okay, nothing but a memory, or I should say a block of memory, which is given to you, EBS. Okay, and this is network attached to it. That means it is available on network. You have to attach it to the instance. Yeah. And again, this is very, very interesting to note that EBS is a kind of plug and play, plug and play on that, right? That means we can attach EBS volumes to the instances. We can detach it from the instance. You can attach it to any other instance. Yeah. I mean, you can understand it like this. Let's say I have uh, EC2, right? Systems running here, multiple instances. Yeah, so there must be some volumes attached with the instances like this. Okay, and let's say I have another instance, and now I want to detach this volume, and then I can detach it and attach it with the other instance. That is very much possible. Yeah, even the volumes can be shared by the instances. It is very much possible. Yeah, but there's a very specific type of volume that we can actually have shareable. Yeah, that we will talk about it. There are different type of volumes that we have here. That is general purpose volumes. Yeah, when I talk about volumes, they are general purpose and they are IO optimized or provisioned IO. That's the thing. We'll talk about, right? Don't worry. So there are different type of like volumes also we have to choose. Okay. So general purpose volumes cannot be shared among multiple instances, but yes, IO optimize can be shared. That's the different story. We'll talk about it. Don't worry. Hmm? Uh, I hope you got this idea. One more thing that I would like to add here. There's always a root volume attached with this root volume. I'm sorry, I think there's problem with my pen. Yeah, root volume. What is this root volume, by the way? Root volume is nothing but a volume which is given to you as as to use by the operating system. Root volume, or you can just say that the operating system lies inside this root volume. One more thing that I want to tell you about the EBS is a persistent storage. Yes, very very important concept to understand here. Yeah, when I talk about instance connect, no, all the data that you have in instance connect, definitely we cannot access it. The instance will access it, is going to be erased when you reboot the instance or you terminate the instance. You will lose all the data from the instance store. Yeah, but EBS is a persistent storage. Yeah, persistent. That means, I mean, it is not volatile. Makes sense. Like when you have EBS volume, if even if you just have the reboot of the instances, you will not lose the data from the EBS. Okay, but yes, it is little different for root volumes. Yeah, from root volumes you may have the idea of deletion when the instance is rebooting. Okay, I'll show you all these behavior in the volume that we talk about. Okay, don't worry. I don't think we can get started with that, but I have given you a basic idea because there are people who might be having some work. So uh, I will wrap up this session on time. I don't want to extend it. So I will do that this tomorrow. I will tell you about EBS volumes, about EFS and everything. I'm not very sure about what the team is going to decide, but let's see, because there are continuous lower ratings that I'm getting. But that is okay, part of the story. I don't mind. There are a lot of people who are appreciating me. Okay, let's see what happens. I don't want to go with that non-satisfaction, but that is cool, no problem. Any question on this EBS? Any primary question? Ravan is asking, we can have the application or data inside the root volume. Not application, it is about data. It is block level storage or inside the root volume, or we should only inside the EBS volume. No, no. Root volumes are always for the operating system purposes. Okay. I mean, if you have, if you want to have more data to be stored, then you can go and attach n number of different volumes with that. Yeah. Gopal is saying in EC2 once is restarted or the data is lost. So you have to understand that where it is, right? Like when we talk about instance store, which is like the memory used by the instance, it will be erased. It will be erased from the root volume as well. The root volume is deleted when the instances are terminated. Okay, but the volumes which are not root volumes, right, that we attach additionally, yeah, we do not lose any data from that. Yeah, let's say we have a volume attached with an instance. We have terminated that instance. Now the EBS volume will still be there, right? We can attach it with any other instance like this. Yeah, it's like a USB stick. Exactly. The concept is very similar. Yeah, it's like USB stick to the EC2 instances. Yeah, any more questions, guys? Yeah, Janardhan is asking, is root volume persistent or temporary? Let me just show you that. I think then you will understand. Actually, the root volumes are deleted. That means we will lose the data on termination of the root. Right? Let me just show you. If you just inside this instance, when you go to the storage, just see, this is the root volume which is attached. You can use root device type is EBS. Okay, there's a root volume already attached with this. Yeah, and when you scroll right here, you can see deletion on termination. Can you see deletion on termination? Yes. So this volume will be deleted once you terminate the instance. Okay, not about stop. In stop, this will be here, right? When you terminate the instance, you will lose the root volume. You can add n number of volumes with this. Okay, that is not a problem. Okay, but root volume is meant to be deleted when you terminate the instance. Let's say that we have okay guys, I'm just answering the questions. If you don't have question, you can drop off, no problem. I'm not moving ahead with any new topic here. Yeah, so I'm just trying to answer some of the questions that I have left with. Let's say we have a portal deployed on deployed a package into EC2. Okay, if we shut down and bring it up later, in the case we will have deployed the package again. No, no, it's not like this. See, there are two states here. Thank you, Ernest, for that. There are two states that we have to understand. Yeah, like we have a Linux, sorry, the instance running. Okay, we can go from this to stop state or termination state. Yeah, the stop state is nothing but the hold, right? I mean, halt on that process. That means we can run it again. We can start it again. That's a temporary stop on that. Okay, you can just see this. I just want to show you that. But when you terminate, that is deletion of the instance. Okay, this is you have to understand. Just see, let's say, I mean, I will do it right away. I am running this instance, and when I go to this instance state, and I can stop it, I can terminate it, you can see, and I can reboot this. When I stop this, you will see, if I stop it, it is in a stop state. So there are multiple instances which are in stop state, right? I can start it. Yeah, I can start it back. I can have those things back. No need to install those packages or everything. No. Yeah. But once you have terminated this instance, right, it is a destructive operation, right? You will not be able to retrieve it. You will not be retrieve anything on that, right? It's not possible to get it. Thank you, Nitesh. Thank you so much for that motivating words. Yeah, I don't know about how team is going to react on that, because there are some rules I am also abide of. Anything. Thank you so much. I'm feeling happy that you found this session good. Yeah, I'm trying my best to explain to each and every of you. Like there are few people who are absolutely new to AWS, right? And some of them are having some experience. So I have to manage that heterogeneity here. That's what I'm trying. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you, everyone. I will drop off here. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Have a great day.